I graduated in the top 30 of a fairly large class in high school. I was a member of National Honor Society, the German Language Honor Society, on the leadership of numerous clubs. I took AP classes, received several awards. I had a stack of college brochures as tall as I was. Everything said I should succeed, except I didn't. I went away to college. I was in band and choir. I was in a sorority. I went on hall outings. I thought I was doing everything right. But that summer, I came home a husk of the person I was. Even if my financial aid hadn't been cut, I couldn't have gone back. I got a job at the property management company where my dad worked, and I enrolled at Henry Ford College, started taking classes there. But everywhere I went, I felt out of place. Yes. Eventually, I left that company and applied for the first time at UM-Dearborn, enrolling what was then the College of Education. I wasn't ready and withdrew before the end of the semester, getting a job in retail. After a while, I went back to Henry Ford. I took many different paths and ended up with a degree in business administration. I thought it would be relevant to the job I had as a loan officer at a credit union at the time. After graduation, I applied again to UM-Dearborn, this time to the College of Business, and was accepted for the second time, but deferred my enrollment. I left the credit union and took some time off, working one job at a bookstore and another spending mornings watching 2 school-aged children. One day I decided to look into finishing my degree. Tired of listening to bad advice, I decided to look at what made me happy. I had always loved writing and wanted to do something with it. I wanted to help people. The logical choice seemed to be grant writing between those two. I looked at the local schools and nothing had a program for it. I knew I would have to get the experience on my own. UM-Dearborn has a writing certificate, so I made an appointment to speak with Dr. Liz Rohan to discuss how it might intersect with my interests. Political science seemed like a good major for grant writing, so I also made an appointment to speak with Dr. Ron Stockton. Dr. Stockton convinced me poli-sci would meet what I needed in a major, and Dr. Rohan suggested I speak with Sara in institutional advancement about grant writing. Anne directed me to speak with Dr. Tracy Hall in the Office of Metropolitan Impact, saying although she could use assistance, OMI always needed it more. Tracy and I met the next week and talked for much longer than the appointment we had originally made, about OMI, about grant writing, about going back to school, and all sorts of things. The next day, I applied for UM-Dearborn the third time, this time as a Castle student, and began taking classes in January of 2016. That's me on my first day of class. I was invited, I met with OMI staff and they suggested I work as an intern instead of a volunteer. That semester, I took 5 classes and worked 3 jobs. I also won Intern of the Year for the Humanities Department in winter 2016. That internship turned into a part-time position at OMI. I was invited to dinners, met senior officers, networked with colleagues, and was taken to a conference. I was given real responsibilities in the office and felt as a professional that I was finding my place on campus, but I felt a little out of place as a student. As the part-time job turned into something more full-time, I remember speaking with Tyler Gannett in the Office of Student Success about how I wished I would have something special to wear at graduation. He asked me if I was involved in Talent Gateway. I knew about it, but I didn't think there was any way I could get 50,000 points before graduation. He told me one of his students got 10,000 points in a week. I was intrigued. I started doing challenges on my lunch break at work. Within no time, I had 10,000 points myself. Before long, I was doing my 20,000 point challenge, mostly completed during my lunch breaks. I remember one about social media displeasures that really stuck with me. I wrote about coming across things I didn't like on Facebook and just silencing them. Bryce, one of the talent ambassadors at the time, urged me in her response to be less swift to hide things. She cautioned me politely against creating an echo chamber. I had already realized the reflective nature of Talent Gateway at this point, but I hadn't realized the value of the feedback you get from the Talent Gateway ambassadors. Now I carefully read every comment I get back from them. It creates a dialogue between the participant and the ambassador. It almost creates a friendship between the participant and the ambassador, these people you may never meet. The nature of Talent Gateway inspired me to be very honest about my experience in school and life, and I have received very honest feedback in return. One challenge that really stood out to me as I progressed through the Gateway was the 35,000 point challenge. I remember the discussion at a Talent Gateway focus group talking about how it would change from a volunteering focus to exploring competencies. I focus a lot on professional development in the Gateway, so I was curious. Prior to completing this challenge, I thought I was a pretty professional person. I had worked several professional jobs, had many adult responsibilities. I was a non-traditional student. I didn't think I needed this. I had an idea of what professionalism was, and I thought I fit the bill. Upon reflecting on my leadership, my problem solving, writing ability, and my professionalism, I realized I had to readjust some of my thinking. I had taken elements out of professionalism and put them into something else, but they were necessary to have that distinction. I had to look at the way I conducted myself in the office and in other environments and critically evaluate what I was doing. In doing this work through Talent Gateway, I came to feel I had a home on campus. I had felt out of place as a busy, non-traditional student. I knew I was here professionally and that I had a place there, but I just didn't feel like a student on campus. Having that space to reflect and connect to the same thing other students of all ages were doing gave me a feeling of knowing where I belonged and that I belonged. And thank you for giving that to me.